Okay.
Nice to meet you.
You come through Miami again?
Next year.
Yeah. It's
Next year, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'll come see you play. Is
Oh, really?
that a deal?
Okay, deal. That's a deal. Yeah.
Without ever setting foot on a tennis court, Eric Spoelstra just sent a message to the whole tennis community. The Miami Heat head coach made news before the Miami Open 2026 even got begun when he personally invited Alex Eala to the team's game against the Orlando Magic. The way he greeted her was nothing short of superstar treatment. This was no light-hearted celebrity appearance. This wasn't just a quick picture and handshake at the courtside point. One of the most well-known basketball instructors went above and above to personally host one of the most promising young players in women's tennis. T also conveys the extent of Eala's ascent. The intimacy of the occasion was what made it so potent. Spoelstra did more than simply grant Eala entry to the arena. According to reports, he took her on a tour of the Miami Heat facilities himself, showing her around like a proud host and extending a warm welcome to someone very special. Consider that one of the NBA's busiest and most well-respected players is Eric Spoelstra, leader, a championship coach, and a man with a busy schedule. Nevertheless, he took the time to personally accompany Eala, converse with her, support her, and act as though she truly belonged there. Eala has undoubtedly reached a point where influential people in sports are acknowledging exactly who she is and what she stands for. That type of respect is earned.
I've been for, I don't know, probably for a handful of years.
Oh.
Now I have a reason to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
Sure.
of course.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
The moment was further enhanced by the emotional undertone of all of this. Seeing another Filipino athlete succeed on the global scene obviously touched Spoelstra, a proud Filipino-American and one of the most well-known Filipino characters in American athletics. The pride that went into the gesture was nearly palpable. This went beyond a single NBA game invitation. This has to do with representation. It was about one trailblazer recognizing another. This was because Spoelstra saw in Eala the kind of talent, self-control, and worldwide influence that can motivate millions of people, particularly those who don't often get to see themselves represented at the top levels of international sport. The story claims that Spoelstra did more than simply greet her. He encouraged Eala on her journey as she continues to establish her position in the world of tennis, told her anecdotes, and spoke to her in an inspirational manner. In that situation, see yourself as Alex Eala. You already have a lot of expectations. As you prepare for one of the largest competitions on American territory, you are already among the most talked about young athletes. Then you are pulled aside by a championship-winning coach like Eric Spoelstra, who speaks to you from pride, belief, and experience. Athletes will remember those kinds of experiences for the remainder of their careers, as if that weren't enough. Spoelstra allegedly instructed Eala to return whenever she was in Miami. That particular detail is important. It demonstrates that this was more than a single public relations campaign or promotional event. It seemed sincere. It seemed like an invitation from someone who considers her family, someone deserving of encouragement, and someone whose path should be honored. Fans reacted so fiercely because of this. It was obvious to people that this was real. They could see that Spoelstra was more than simply being courteous. He was proud, involved, and amazed at what Eala was becoming into. Another layer then appeared, adding to the overall memorability of the event. Eala was given the opportunity to meet Miami Heat players and was led to the stands by Spoelstra, who also exposed her to the atmosphere. That is a unique time for any aspiring athlete. However, it was symbolic for Eala, who already works in a world where a fresh spotlight appears every week. It demonstrated that she is more than simply a talented tennis player vying for attention. Elite athletes in various sports acknowledge her and value her presence, self-control, and demeanor. Additionally, the Miami Heat did not keep the occasion a secret. Before the Miami Open, the organization officially wished Eala success and posted about her presence on Instagram. The plot took an even wider turn as a result of that action. Everything is amplified when a teenage tennis player is supported by a professional team like the Miami Heat. It conveys to supporters, sponsors, and even other athletes that this person is worth keeping an eye on. It conveys to the sports world that Eala is more than just a player competing in a competition. Rather, it shows that she is a rising worldwide star with unstoppable momentum. The fact that this Miami Heat moment is not occurring in a vacuum adds even more intrigue. T is a component of a more extensive design. Since coming to the United States, Eala has attracted interest from large organizations and brands in addition to tennis circles. With a combination of grace, modesty, and charisma that inspires people to cheer her on, she is navigating areas that are typically designated for the biggest names in sports. This gets us to Nike, where Eala's alleged visit attracted even more attention. Naturally, there had already been speculation about her relationship with Nike and its potential significance. But the narrative surrounding her visit gave the impression that it was much more significant than a typical endorsement disclosure. The story was that Nike made the collaboration official in dramatic way, welcome her with an exclusive event, and went all out to show how seriously they view her future, rather than making a low-key corporate announcement. To this point, everything began to seem almost strange. According to the story, there is an Alex Eala gallery at Nike headquarters with a special area honoring her memorable tennis moments. According to reports, Novak Djokovic made a significant claim when he said that Eala is better in person than she is on television. That kind of remark, coming from one of the greatest players in history, implies that there is something about her style of play, movement, aura, or general presence that cameras are still unable to adequately capture. Some athletes possess that. Although they look great on TV, they feel different in person. More complete, more powerful, more explosive, and more commanding. Everyone should take notice if Djokovic genuinely sees it in Eala.
How inspired she was. I mean, I was blown away by watching.
Additionally, he allegedly framed her assent for the correct reasons and in the best conceivable way. She is gaining recognition by her performance, professionalism, and the manner she is establishing herself in the WTA, not because of controversy, publicity without substance, or gimmicks. Every young athlete wants that type of recognition because it honors character as much as talent. The alleged remarks made by Jessica Pegula also match this expanding picture flawlessly. In a way, it's revealing that she would want Eala to appear on her program. This indicates that her forehand and match outcomes are not the only things that people are interested in. They are intrigued by her enthusiasm, her narrative, her viewpoint, and the impact she is making on the sport. Beyond the scoreboard, Eala is starting to garner attention, which is a sign that an athlete is beginning to transition into a new category.
Yeah, I mean, she's really good tennis player. Goes for her shots, takes the ball early, rips. Being a lefty is always tricky, competes really well. I mean, obviously she's beaten a lot of top players this week. I don't really think she needs me to tell her that she's a great player, that we're not going to see enough of her, but we definitely are. And she proved that tonight. I mean, that was really tough.
Alex Eala is no longer just a player with a bright future. She is starting to represent what women's tennis might look like in the future. Young, unafraid, globally relevant, and unmissable. The indications are everywhere, from the Miami Heat to Nike to compliments from tennis elite. The world of sports is no longer merely observing her, it is embracing her, supporting her, and getting ready for her to grow into something even greater. And those closest to greatness can already see it coming, if Eric Spoelstra's response is any guide.